Hey friends! Today we're going to talk about why your brain state is actually the most important factor in your healing and why we have to work with and not against your body to really get to the recovery that you're looking for. Now, we've had a best-selling webinar called Brain States for Healing that has sold out every time we've done it. And so people keep asking us for some kind of self-guided course content, and that's why we developed Rebuild Your Nervous System. We're sticking with that Rebuild Yourself theme, the name of my book, and a lot of my programs have been around the theme of rebuilding yourself and really recognizing that we have to get down to the basic building blocks and be willing to shift some very foundational things in our lives in order to get us out of the stuck places that cause our illnesses. And one of those stuck places is actually the attitude we approach our bodies with. So we have this really comprehensive curriculum. We have EFT Tapping in order to help you break through some emotional blockages. We have Neuromeditation techniques to help you start to retrain those subconscious beliefs and those very slippery negativity spirals that we get in our brain. We also have trauma release exercises to help you unlock the hidden power that your nervous system has to actually heal from trauma spontaneously, as well as an entire fascia release and realignment program where we have exercises, foam rolling tutorials, breathing tutorials, breathwork support, as well as some simple stretches and exercises to help get your whole physical body realigned in a way where your nervous system can actually function optimally. So we have a really special deal going on for this program. We're just releasing it, and it's less than half the price that it's going to be, plus we're giving a 4-hour masterclass on Zoom. And so if you get in before December 1st, you get access to this class and you get the whole program for $97, and we're going to raise it to $377 after December 1st. So I really encourage you guys to get in and sign up for that. I'll put the link in the summary. But let's talk about why this work is integral and why I really believe that I would not have recovered if I hadn't been doing this work. And it was really kind of serendipitous because I was separately, through my career as a mental health therapist, being exposed to the world of somatic therapy, nervous system regulation, and I had discovered the tension and trauma releasing exercises, the TRE, the same year that I was getting very ill. So I was getting very ill. There was a lot of things in my life that I was doing that were not actually working for me. I had had all these rounds of antibiotics, and I was using alcohol a lot and living this very heavy, stressful life and really getting caught up in some negativity patterns. But I was a trauma therapist. I was really trying to help people recover their own nervous systems. And so I was looking for more ways to do that were going to be more effective. And, you know, a nervous system-based approach or the polyvagal approach to healing was just really coming out and getting big. And as a part of this, I had to go through a major training program of regulating my own nervous system and learning how to work with my nervous system. And this happened at the same time that I decided to start really doing serious physical healing. And so meditation and trauma release exercise and gentle yoga were major parts of my healing protocol. And I really believe that all the nutritional and detox and other kinds of work that I was doing so diligently would probably not have gone anywhere if I hadn't had this profound realization about the true power of my own nervous system. Now, so many of my clients, and me as well, back in 2015, 2016, when I was really getting sick, have this very deep belief that something is terribly wrong with their body. And I hear this all the time in sessions with people, where people will come to me and they will say, I think something might be really wrong with me. And they're terrified. They feel like there's some kind of black, icky goo somewhere in their body, or some kind of, it almost feels like an evil spirit, right? There's like something evil and bad and really wrong that is deep in their body. And there's this fear that there's something in there that they can't get out. If you think about it, this is the stuff of body horror, right? There's like a whole genre of horror that comes from this fear. So it's not unusual. A lot of people have this feeling, and it's manifested in this intense health anxiety that when I have a symptom, it means something is really deeply wrong. Now, when you think that way, you are thinking your body is your enemy. There is something in your body that you can't get out that is hurting you. And that leads us into this extreme state of fear and stress that is unresolvable and blocks all your potential healing capacity. We start to see our body as inherently dysfunctional, broken, wrong, and dangerous. And we start to look for the things that are going to override what is happening in our body. We look for the thing that is going to extract this badness from us. We start looking for the thing that is going to dampen all our symptoms, to suppress the bad thing that is happening inside of us. So we take this very overriding approach. This is the basis of Western medicine. And it makes sense when you get in a car accident and you're bleeding out and you have massive internal trauma. In that case, yeah, we need to bring in the hammer and we need to stop the bleeding and we need to get you in a place where then you can heal, right? And then at that point, it's a matter of like lying on your bed for months while your body does the healing work that it's supposed to do. But that initial intervention might be necessary when you've got a really acute thing going on. So there is a place for that approach. But in the bigger picture, most of us are not having chronic illness because we got an acute injury in a car accident, as an example. We have had long-term imbalances that have come from ignoring the true needs of our body. There is nothing inherently wrong or dysfunctional with our body. We have lived a life that has been wrong and dysfunctional for our body. The phone call is coming from outside the house. Not inside the house, right? And so it's flipping out our deep fears, right? We all have these fears. It's like it's something inside me that is wrong. And it's this attitude that has been cultivated culturally in so many different ways, but it's not. It's the place that we've put our body. And that is actually what needs to be resolved. But instead, we think we need this magic bullet, right? We need the thing that's going to get the bad thing out. And so, okay, now we turn to functional or naturopathic medicine to approach this because the doctor's insisting nothing wrong with me. So I'm going to go to an alternative approach. And at least these people acknowledge, oh, yeah, mold, heavy metal, parasites, these are real things. But they're still framing it as there's something bad in you that we need to get out. But this really caters to people's fears, right? It really caters to people's deep beliefs that they already have. And so all these doctors are selling these incredibly expensive programs where you go to them and they give you all this intensive, chelation or ozone or intensive antimicrobial or magnets, or there's all these different things that these professionals are giving people to say, here, come to me, I'll get the bad thing out of you. And again, this is like speaking to our most primal fear and health anxiety. And so we spend the money, we say, yes, here, get it out of me. But it turns out that that was never actually the problem. And some people will experience some relief, of course, if you majorly lower your viral load or you get some heavy metals out of you, of course you're going to feel better for a while. But unfortunately, a lot of people either don't feel anything or they feel a lot worse afterwards because you mobilized a bunch of stuff that your body didn't have the capacity to deal with in the first place, and that's why you're sick. So I believe that for most people, these kinds of programs end up being a huge waste of money that feed into the underlying fears that are contributing to the continuation of your illness in the first place. I know it is comforting to have a piece of paper that says, here's what's wrong, here's what we need to fix. And here, I have this special thing, if you come to my clinic for 5 weeks, that is going to get this bad, evil thing out of you. And then you're going to be pure and clean and safe again, right? You can see how it really plays into our cultural beliefs that we already have about ourselves. But your body is actually your biggest ally in your healing. In fact, your body is already healing. And if your body is not healing, it's because it's not being given the environment it needs to heal. And so we have to look very thoroughly and completely at your environment, at the things that are making your body not believe that it is in a healing place, that it is in a healing state. And your beliefs about your body are the first step. So yes, we need to look at your external environment, what you're eating, how you're sleeping, who you're around, where you're living, all of these things. But we also need to look at the content of your own mind, because that is part of your environment. The thoughts you think create our perception of our entire reality. Right? I'm not going to say our thoughts create our reality, because I think that can be really dismissive of some people's material circumstances, but our thoughts create our perception of our current reality, right? How we perceive the meaning of the things happening to us. And so until we deal with that, it doesn't matter what is going on. And I know this because I have clients in vastly different circumstances. I have worked with people who are living in very difficult, adverse circumstances, and I've worked with people who are living in objectively very privileged circumstances. And those circumstances often have very little to do with the attitude that someone has. So it's the attitude that really makes it. So how do we reprogram your beliefs so that your body is not the enemy, that there is not some dark, hidden, deep, secret toxin or evil that is inside of you, that is destroying you from the inside, that you need to get out? But instead, look at your body as inherently good, inherently on your side, inherently containing this ability to spontaneously heal and push out anything that is not serving you on its own, and recognizing that if it's not pushing those things out on its own, there's a reason that it doesn't feel ready to. And the last thing it needs is you to then be mad at it for making that executive decision for your safety. And so we have to start collaborating. We have to start saying, I hear you. I understand you. I may not always fully understand everything you're doing or why. I may not always fully understand everything you're always asking me for, but I'm going to recognize that my symptoms are clues. My symptoms are clues, and I don't have to understand every single one, but I can start to collaborate so that I can learn your language. I can learn the language of the body, and I can start to build this new kind of relationship where symptoms are signals of what my body needs and not signs of inherent dysfunction. So how do we do this? First of all, when we have negative emotions come up, we can't suppress them. I don't really agree with the idea of just overriding negative emotions and not allowing yourself to cry or feel negative things. I think for a lot of people that ends up feeling like a different type of gaslighting. And I think any emotion we push down will come back up eventually. So we need to allow our emotions to move through us in a healthy way, in a way that doesn't overwhelm us, right? That doesn't feel completely overwhelming. but still allows them to move through and out, doesn't keep them in this kind of stuck place of just generally feeling bad, but not actually being able to fully process or feel your emotions. And this is where EFT tapping is so beneficial. And we have our very own Melanie Cross, the EFT coach, who is excellent at doing this work with people and really helping people uncover the stuck emotions and the beliefs that they're connected to, and actually helps you move through those no matter what kinds of issues you are having. And similarly, we have to let you move your trauma through your body. Believe it or not, your body innately knows how to recover from trauma. So anyone that has any kind of post-traumatic stress or experiences that they don't feel like they can let go of, it's because your body hasn't felt safe enough to let go of that yet, or your brain hasn't felt open enough to let go of that yet. Your body will let go of your trauma when given the right context, when you build this relationship and this new understanding of yourself. And so the trauma release exercises are so incredible for this. And it's really, it's simple movements and exercises, and it's a very simple method, but the power is in how you approach it. So we help you with that. And then give your brain a break. Give your brain a break from the ruminating, constant patterns of thought that are just dragging you down day after day. And we all have these, right? We all have this negativity bias. We all tend to focus on the bad things and the potential for bad things. And so this is normal. This is part of the human condition. They've been dealing with this for thousands of years. That's why some of these meditation techniques are thousands of years old. But we have really honed them in with modern neuroscience, which is very, very cool. So we can either connect them to a spiritual practice, such as prayer, or we can do them in a totally secular way as well. And so we really try to teach meditation in a way that's going to be available for everyone, regardless of your personal faith convictions. And so neuromeditation is really the technique here that allows you to exercise your brain in the most optimal way. This is like the high-level exercise program that has like honed in the top exercise science. And so it's giving you these very specific techniques, and we have recorded meditations that help you implement these techniques in a really simple and accessible way. This technique was actually designed for people with mental health symptoms that make meditation difficult. And so if you have avoided meditation because it's just way too intimidating and overwhelming, this is for you. And if you've already done meditation and benefited from it, this is a way to really bring your technique to the next level. And then we have got to make sure your body is properly aligned and there's no majorly constricted tension patterns. And I am telling you, more and more I'm having my clients like do breathing with me, because what I'm finding is so many people are misaligned through their spine and hips and ribs and neck. And they're not actually breathing properly because of this. They can't. And of course, if you've had limited mobility through your life, you've been bedbound or not been able to move or exercise freely, or you've had trauma that has constricted your body inwards, or maybe you had developmental trauma as a child where you didn't necessarily learn all your movement patterns optimally, which is more common than you would think. You might have developed with this chronic misalignment in your body and these chronic tension patterns. We've got to actually get you moving and stretching and using a foam roller in a way that is going to move some of this stuckness and realign things that have been chronically misaligned. So we have a whole incredibly comprehensive fascia and realignment protocol in there for you as well. Now, once you're getting all of these in place, now you can transition to a therapeutic diet. You can get more of a gut healing protocol going on with your nutrition. You can support your liver. You can gently start to detox. You can shift your circadian rhythm, right? You can make sure that you're getting enough sunlight exposure. You can start to do all these other things that physically do support your health and healing, because our body is asking us for help, right? It's saying like, hey, maybe don't eat things that are actively feeding bacterial overgrowth, and maybe like, hey, my liver, your liver is congested, like maybe I need a little bit of help in here. And so you can do things to gently support the liver's ability to detoxify. So we do those kinds of interventions, but we're not bringing down the hammer. We're working with these innate capacity that the body has to rebalance and to heal and release, but those things are not going to happen optimally until we get your relationship with your nervous system rebalanced, until you start collaborating with your own brain and nervous system. So that's why we call it brain states for healing, because it's acknowledging that the state of your brain dictates your ability to heal. And, we have sold so many workshops on this topic. People need this information. They're craving this information. So now it's here for you in this pre-recorded format. Rebuild your nervous system. So it's on the website under Advanced Nervous System Healing Program. And like I said, we're going to raise the price considerably after December 1st. It's only $97 now, plus you get this 4-hour Zoom class. So that's really, really exciting. It's an incredible deal. It's kind of our Black Friday promo special. So I really encourage you guys to investigate this option for you and sign up. I'm putting the link in the summary. And thank you so much for listening and giving this some thought.